All right, mate. It's summer, but we might start with a bit of a traditional winter sport, rugby league. There's a bit of action around. The 1st of November is the open season. All right, mate. We might move on to the Newcastle District Cricket. Plenty to talk about. Just had confirmation through first. We might touch on the obviously the Tom Locker and second grade finals were rescheduled from Sunday, which will give us a good chance to have a bit of a preview of them as they come. But the second grade final has been scheduled for the 11th of November, so Sunday week. We'll be back at George Farley Oval there at Wallsend. And yeah, so we'll have a look ahead to that one next week with Wallsend being the home side, mate.
Yeah, we look forward to hopefully getting the final in, mate. Obviously, wet weather happened again last week, which is a shame, but
Yep.
yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, that it will, mate. It's always good and good to see, some second graders and lower graders getting an early chance to grab some silverware. But mate, obviously Tom Locker final, again, it was washed out on Sunday along with that second grade one. Mate, NBN was obviously a bit short on news. They showed footage of some Hamwicks players throwing vortexes at each other. So University will play Hamwicks, mate. The great news for University is that their incapacitated star signing, Scott Logan, might be back in time for the game.
It could be, mate. It'll be touch and go for whenever they decide to play it. But yeah, he obviously missed last week's solid win with.
But more crucially, mate, he was the missing X factor last night in the Grasshoppers' loss.
Yeah, I don't know
Thumping.
if he would help us, mate. We let in a load of tries, 6 tries. It was a terrible defensive effort.
I feel like we didn't let in that many tries at all last season in any game.
We only let 5 in the whole year.
No, it was much more than that, mate. You're on drugs.
Yeah, no.
I'm pretty confident we didn't let 6 in a game, though.
No, not once, I don't think.
No.
Oh, actually, no, the couple of the early games we did when we were in B grade. And
No. I'm pretty sure we had 5-2 and 4-3 and 4-1 the first 3 last year. I'm pretty sure we didn't let in 6, or if we did, it was only just 6. But yeah, I'm pretty confident it was 5, 4 and 4 because we're right in a couple of them.
We were riding high after last week's big win, mate, but hopefully we get a bit of reinforcements back next week and we can get another W up.
Yeah, well, mate, we'll wait and see who's available. And yeah, so wait and see if. So will Scotty Logan be kitting up this week in the cricket, or is he still out of action?
No, he's out of action for about a month, mate, I believe, in all sport. So
he needs
lying on the lounge, feeling sorry for himself.
Is he out? The big thing is, do I need to sell my shares in King Street because their value is going to go down because he's not out and about on Saturday nights?
Yeah, they won't be able to go to that either, mate. So I don't know what he's going to do.
All I know is he's probably going to end up with blisters on his hands, but we'll leave it at that. So on to last weekend's results, mate, from the one-dayers, and there was some pretty solid standout performances, and we'll run through quickly. Charlestown took on Wallsend, mate. Charlestown batted first, put up 187. Wallsend bowled out in pursuit of that. As usual, the usual suspects scoring there, with Mr. Price top scoring for Wallsend and young Richardson top scoring for Charlestown, mate.
Yeah, Richardson started the year off pretty well. Middle order bat, mate. It seemed to go all downhill once Mr. Price got out, but
yeah, they certainly missed Mr. Montgomery, who I understand dislocated his finger in the warm-up.
Yeah, nice. That's a nice painful injury, mate.
It is, mate. So Charlestown getting the win there. Next up, mate, Wes. They travelled over to Lynn Oval and played as per expected. Set a total of 129. They certainly cleaned up, getting that 2 down. Half centuries, not out to Aaron Wivell and out to the second string Price at the moment, Joseph.
Yeah, he needs to step up, mate. He needs to do something outlandish to get that title back, but
He certainly does, mate. So
did it easy, mate. Did it easy.
No surprises there. Speaking of no surprises, Newcastle City, they won the toss and batted first against University. 148 was the total they set. No one managing to reach the half-century mark for City, but University had Mr. McKechnie and the number one fan of the Nathan Hudson fan club, Nathan Hudson, both getting half-centuries to lead University to a comfortable win with about 9 overs to spare. They're at Where'd they play it, mate? University number 1. I had a mind blank there.
I think it was in town or Learmont.
No, it was University number 1, mate. That's what the scorecard says, so I'm going to go with that.
All right. I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, that's right. You should be used to it by now. Moving on, Toronto, mate. They took on Belmont again. Belmont won the toss and batted first. Lots of 20s and 30s and starts, but no follow-ons from Belmont. Posted a score of 166, and Toronto, they're loving a nail bite at the moment. Chased it down on the third last ball of the match with 1 wicket in hand.
Yeah, they did, mate. And
again, a lot of starts.
They're winning some games before Christmas.
Yeah, a lot of starts there, mate. Again, top scores, 220s, 230s for both sides, very similar. A lot of starts, but no one seemed to be able to go on with it. So a spattering of wickets around, and it was certainly that's 2 nail biters in a row that the Kookaburras have been involved in, and I think their officialdom will be starting to lose some hair, mate.
They certainly will, mate, but I suppose they're winning, so that's the only thing they're looking at.
Speaking of close, mate, your man Rahul Bakshi fell agonisingly short, run out by the stalwart Simon Moore on 99. A big opening partnership there for Cardiff as they batted first. First wicket fell at 183, then fell fairly consistently after that, but they posted a very solid 221. My man, mate, Nick Watkins, I said he was going to fire this week, and he got 77, didn't top score, but batted quite well there, and had a couple of little fires through the end there, but no one else seemed to be able to get any runs once those 2 wickets fell, and they finished up 6 for 221. Merriweather gave it a red-hot crack with the usual suspects, Simon Moore, Mr. Geary, and Eccleston getting some runs, mate, but wasn't to be, and they fell about 15 runs short, but it was an entertaining chase, I'm told, and the boys from Cardiff did get a little bit nervous with Courtney Moulton getting 12 off 8 balls late. He started swinging at the bat and looked like it might come down to the last over or so, but not to be.
No, it wasn't to be, and well done to Cardiff, mate. They've started the year off with good intentions. Prawns is out there running the ship, and they're doing really well.
I'm not sure if you can tell me, mate, but someone might have tipped that they'd be pretty handy this year.
Yeah, you did say it, mate, and I believe they won the Gordon Goffert Shield too for winning, because they won the first and second grade against Merriweather.
There you go, mate. Yeah, first time in a few years, and mate, I see that they have recruited well. Not only have they recruited, obviously, their captain, Mr. Watkins, and brought Mr. Sharma over, and they got the Bills there as well. But they've recruited Dan Carter from the All Blacks.
Yeah, is there anything he can't do, mate?
He took 4 wickets. It looks like, we didn't really see him bat, so we don't know if he can do that yet. But, certainly very impressive. Mr. Bakshi had a good day out as well, rolled the arm over. I'm not sure about the 5 wides he bowled one over, but that's a whole other story. A couple of catches. So if he keeps that form up, mate, he'll be putting pressure on Nathan Price, as well as the man of the moment, who we'll touch on now, mate. Hamwicks, they hosted Waratah Mayfield over at Passmore Oval, and Waratah batted first. No one really got going. Again, a few starts in the teens. Their main man, Johnny Durham, with 28, and Asher Robbins top scoring in the 30s. So not much there, mate. But what have I done there? I've closed the scorecard. That wasn't clever. No real hassle for the boys from Hamwicks in chasing down that total. And certainly very impressive. Benny Balkan with a half century, the rep keeper, and but the most impressive, mate, was Abe Gibson with his second 5 for in a row, 5 for 8 or 5 overs.
Very impressive, mate.
Do you reckon there's any danger? Like, he's bowling 5th change each week. Do you reckon there's any danger that the skipper, Mr. Webber, there decides to throwing the ball a little bit earlier?
Surely. Maybe he just wants to give everyone a chance to try and catch him in the wickets, mate, and lead him into a false sense. Then he comes on and cleans them all up. Yeah,
well, I guess we'll wait and see, mate. But they chased it down with the total of 115. They got 4 for 116 with 11 and a half overs to spare. So that got them home and saw them into the final, mate, against University, which we will see in a few weeks once the rep season has wrapped up, I'm told, reliably by the boys from Newcastle District Cricket.
Yeah, it's good to see Waratah, mate. A bit of banter on our Facebook page as well with our posts.
Pierce Robinson, John O'Toomey all getting in there, and Yeah.
It's good. So
Mate,
they're all getting on board, mate. We love it.
If they start getting as many runs as they've got one-liners, they'll move their way into the top 10 on the Newcastle District Cricket leaderboard in no time.
Yeah, that's right. So come on, boys, you get a few wickets this week and you get some points, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly right, mate. We'll get onto those in a second, this week's fixtures, that is. But the Player of the Year standings, and the man we just talked about there, Abraham Gibson, he's joined Nathan Price, the seasoned veteran, at the top, both equal first on 15 points, mate. Brad Alders from West on 13. As we mentioned before, the number one member of the Nathan Hudson fan club on 10. Then you go back to Daniel Chillingworth, Simon Keane on 9. I don't think Simon Keane will be getting too many more points anytime soon. Courtney Moulton and Nick Watkins on 5, Raul Bakshi on 4, and Dean Carter on 3. Cardiff representing with 3 in the top 10, mate.
Yeah, they're rocking it, mate. They're playing well. They're all stepping up. So, yeah, let's see who can get put the pressure on the Alpha Price this week.
They're the only ones with more than one in there, mate. So it's a good spread. Good to see there's 8 teams represented out of the 12 in the top 10, mate.
It is, mate. It is, and it just goes to show we are watching. So. Yeah, keep scoring runs and taking wickets.
Exactly right, mate. So, as we said, the 2-day action starts this Saturday and we'll carry on next Saturday. 11 o'clock starts on each of the matches, mate. So, we'll start at Cardiff number 2. Cardiff hosting Belmont, mate. If this game had been 12 months ago, you would have almost backed Belmont as an outright lay down misère for an outright, mate. So, how 12 months changes things. Who do you like here, and what are your thoughts?
I think Cardiff's going to get it done, mate. I think just the amount of confidence they've got from what they've done early, obviously Watkins and Raul leading from the front. I think they're going to get it done fairly easily, but it's good to see Belmont, although they've had a pretty big exodus, they're still showing a lot of fight, and obviously Marcus is trying to lead a few of them younger guys, but I think Gray will carry on his form, but yeah, I think Cardiff will get the chocolates, mate.
Lovely, mate. Yeah, I've got Cardiff with the first innings result to get it done here, led by those names that you mentioned, as well as Mr. Sharma. I think he might come into his own in the 2-day cricket with a bit more time and a bit less pressure to score quickly and get off the mark in what would probably be a bit unfamiliar conditions still. Next up, mate, Toronto hosting Charlestown out at Ron Hill Oval out there at Toronto West. Mate, I think the Kookaburras will get this one done, but I think this one might be an absolute belter, and there might be a bit of a seesaw in this, and a few unexpected stand-ups and interesting moments. The things to take into consideration too with this, though, is that with rep cricket next weekend, there will be players out of action. So certainly, like Toronto obviously will miss Adrian Chad, and Charlestown will miss Jed Dixon. So it'll be interesting to see whether teams take those into consideration with tosses and things like that. So like a team like Charlestown, where Jed's obviously a key batsman for them, whereas Chaddy's a bit of the all-rounder for Toronto. So either way, they're going to lose a bit of his assets, whereas Charlestown will probably want to bat first and hope that Jed can get a score this week with being out next week.
Yeah, important toss to win, I reckon, out there at Ron Hill, mate. Get runs on the board, but I'm going to stick with my boys, mate, the Magpies. They're undefeated so far, and I think they'll get it done, but I think it could come down to the last 2 hours of play, this one, mate.
Yeah, right, mate. I'm not sure. I wasn't aware that Charlestown was undefeated so far, but...
Yeah, 3 wins, 2 draws from the washouts, and they missed out on percentages in the Tom Rocket final.
Right, yeah, of course.
22 points, same as Hamwicks and Uni at this stage.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, of course. I don't know why I hadn't pinned for a loss on my ladder. That's why my figures were wrong last week that Chris Oliver picked us up on.
I think we tipped Wolves End last week.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about the tips, mate. I'm talking about the running totals that I had. So, yeah, there's more than just those graphics that you see on Instagram and Facebook that go into this stuff, mate.
It's not just a pretty face, mate.
No, mate. I'm working hard behind the scenes, carrying the load. Next one up, mate. Merriweather hosting Newcastle City. This game will be not too heavily affected by rep involvement, I would think, for a bit of a change.
Yeah, just Josh Geary from Merriweather there, mate. But,
yeah.
The old rivalry, the inner city rivalry, I think Merriweather will get the job done, mate. And I expect Simon Moore to get a big one this week.
Lovely, mate. So you've all just tipped first innings win so far?
Yeah, I think it'll be first innings. Yep, that's correct.
Mate, the next one, this one could be an absolute cracker. These two teams both in pretty good form. West with just the one loss. Hamwicks, as we touched on, undefeated in the one-dayers. They're over there at Harker Oval. West grow another leg at Harker Oval, mate. This one will be an absolute belter across the 2 days and could well go to well into next Saturday, late before we see a result.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it'll be similar to the Toronto-Charlestown game. It'll go down to the, probably around the tea break on the second day. But, mate, I'm going to actually probably go for a bit of an upset. I'm going to go with Hamwicks to beat West, mate.
Yeah, right. I'll stick with the home side, mate. I'll go with West and me and Joe Price to come to the fore. Obviously, a big thing for them is that the fact Joe won't be playing Saturday week, so he will be available, I understand, for their both days.
Very nice.
Next up, mate, I think this one's pretty straight up. These next two, University host Stockton at the University of Newcastle. Who do you like here, mate? I wouldn't be surprised if this one's over on the first day almost.
Yeah, I think it'll be, again, an important toss. If Uni win the toss, I think they could be batting in the afternoon. But, yeah, I expect Uni to be pushing for outright in this at least. And, yeah, they'll get the job done, mate, at home.
Yeah, I've got University getting the outright there as well, mate. So we agree on that one. Finally, mate, Wallsend versus Waratah Mayfield. I understand Wallsend will have Pat McGann out this week for personal reasons, and Nathan Price, obviously, and Jacob Montgomery out next week. So, again, very crucial toss to win. I would think that Wallsend would be looking for a opportunity to bat this week, and obviously Jacob will be dependent on his fitness and how his finger has recovered. I haven't been confirmed whether or not there was any fracture or whether it was just a dislocation.
Yeah, well, hopefully a speedy recovery anyway, mate. Hopefully he can get back on the field. And, yeah, I expect the home side. I just think with Price and Montgomery out the second week, a lot of pressure's on this week. But I expect Wallsend to get a first innings win in this game, mate.
Yeah, their bowling stocks will certainly be tested as to whether or not they can get the outright. They would have been hoping when they saw the draw until they realised the clash with representative cricket, and obviously with the loss of Matt Wicks. And I believe it's been confirmed that Brett Jackson will not play in 2018-19. So that's a little disappointing for them. But they do have some good players wandering around in second grade. So look, I'm going to tip Wallsend to get it done outright here in what's probably a little bit of a surprise. But if they want to stake their claim for the top four, they're going to need to stand up this week and next week, even with the absence of their illustrious skipper, the Alpha Price.
That's right, but obviously, Durham's out the second week too for Waratah, mate. So
yeah, exactly right, and that's a big loss for Waratah, mate. He's been, a little bit the heart and soul of their team as a batsman and a bowler, and yeah, his absence could be fairly disastrous for them. So wait and see, mate. I guess a little bit more action. As we said, the Newcastle Steel kick off their campaign on Sunday, mate, and they head all the way down to North Dalton Park in Wollongong to take on Illawarra. It's a long way to go for 3 hours of cricket.
It certainly is, mate.
But
the captain's looking forward to it.
Mate, I understand it's going to be a real shootout for the Alpha Price, with both Prices opening the batting.
Yeah, nice. Well, they might be looking to run each other out, mate.
Well, I did ask that question, and I was assured that wouldn't be the case. And I said, well, at the end of the day,
riding on it.
mate, it's the biggest title in Newcastle cricket. I understand it's been talked about at rep training. It's been talked about in the streets. Even Cessnock Correctional Facility, there's people talking about it. So it's everywhere. I think the people in question are underestimating the value of that award.
Certainly are, mate. I agree.
But, mate, I believe it's a fairly strong-looking lineup, and I certainly think the Newcastle boys, from talking to a couple of them, and a couple of people involved around the scenes, they'll be quite confident of their, ability to get the win done. They've got a pretty solid lineup, as I said. I'm just bringing that up in front of me, the batting lineup. Do you have it in order, mate, or...?
I've got the order of the team as it was named, which I believe is...
Alphabetical surname.
Actually, it's not alphabetical, because Price is the third one. The fourth, Ben Price, Aldous, Ben Malcolm, Joe Price, Adrian, Chad.
It looks like Joe Price has just been inserted in the alphabetical order. Everything else in alphabetical order, barring the captain. So
yeah, that's what I thought when you said that. Yeah.
So yeah.
Toby Gray's obviously there, but he's down the list, but he's after Montgomery.
So it looks like the batting lineup for the Steel is Price, Watkins, Montgomery, Dixon, Chad, Balcombe, Durheim, Robertson, Foster, and Alder. So it's a fairly deep batting lineup. Also in the squad, Josh Geary, Peter Loschek, and Toby Gray. So it's a pretty strong squad that they're going away with, mate. And it's a deep batting lineup when you've got Jonty, who's obviously a pretty handy enough stick batting at, 8? So yeah, certainly pretty handy. And sorry, my computer's just frozen, mate. So here we go. We're away again now. Dylan Robertson from Toronto then coming into bat after that, and even a couple of those blokes at 10, Nick Foster can hold a bat from time to time. So yeah, they've got plenty of batting there. Hopefully they won't need it. Hopefully it'll be double tons to the Price twins.
Double tons in a T20, that would be
well, dual tons, I should say, as opposed to double tons. One each.
That would be good watching.
One each, but yeah.
Yeah, I think they've got a pretty good side, obviously, on paper, mate, and they've had a few retirees and a few player movements from last year, so it'd be good to see their progress, mate, and I'll be looking with interest on Sunday to see how they go. Yeah,
as will I, mate, and then again, obviously, they head off next weekend to Nowra. They've been moved into the southern pool, so boys may as well just set up camp in Wollongong this week and then travel on from there.
Yeah, let's stay down there, mate. Set up camp like the Sydney FC did.
Yeah, exactly right, mate. But that's obviously the Newcastle District, the Newcastle Steel, and then we'll cover off on the country ahead of that next week. Finally, mate, the final thing to wrap up with, I guess, Jason Sangha. I was down in Canberra yesterday, watched the young former Wolves End boy. He hasn't been in the best form in the Shield, self-admitted as I spoke to him after the match. He'd been a bit disappointed with his batting there, but got a good little knock of 38 in a partnership with 77 with former Aussie one-day skipper George Bailey, which really brought them back into the chase against the South African side, and also got 1 for 30 bowling his handy little leg spinners, mate. So good day out for young Jason. He's only 19 years of age and coming up against a fully stacked South African side that was basically only missing Hashim Amla. It was a good effort from him and helped steer an Australian side, Prime Minister's 11 side, to victory. And I can vouch for the fact that the one and only ScoMo was there in attendance to watch the match and cheer them on and then congratulate them after the win.
Yeah, nice, mate. And what was a good atmosphere down there?
It was a good atmosphere, a little bit quiet during the day, obviously being a business day on a Wednesday. I was fortunate enough as part of my Monday to Friday that I found an insurer that would sponsor some tickets and take some of my brokers along and myself as well. So it was nice to go and sit down there. It was a warm day down in Canberra, but pitch looked a little bit slow, like it wasn't coming quite onto the bat, and that would be demonstrated by the fact that neither team got 200. But yeah, certainly a good day out and good to see some developing cricketers as well as some of those ones that might not have quite piqued the interest of the Australian selectors at the level they should yet, such as Jason Berendorf and Ben Dwarshuis. So, mate, all in all, very good day out for Australia and great to see an Australian side win some cricket.
Yeah, that's what we want to be talking about, mate. Wins on the field.
That's exactly right, mate. So that pretty much brings us to the end of the show. Again, make sure to jump on, give us a rating and a review on iTunes Podcast Store, Podomatic. Feel free to get in touch with us via Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Facebook is just Sportscastle, all one word, Sportscastle AU on Twitter and Instagram. Flick us some messages. Let us know what your thoughts are. Keep commenting and getting involved. There's going to be some more stuff. We've got some big news to come in the not too distant future, hopefully involving some partnerships that we're getting involved in. And obviously the big one, though, was we did announce yesterday, welcoming on board the new sponsor, Air Relax Australia Compression Garments. Mr. Troy Lowry come on board as an official sponsor. They'll be the naming rights and major sponsor of our sports shorts segments for the foreseeable future, and we really look forward to partnering with those guys. And look, if you're a player playing, whether it's at elite, semi-elite, or even at a recreational level, it's a pretty affordable option. It's something you can look at, their compression gear, whether it's one bloke or between a couple of guys, and utilise it for recovery after matches and those sorts of things. Get in touch with Troy. He can let you know They are the most economical in terms of pricing in the market, he tells me, and by a fair distance. So, yeah, they'd certainly be more than happy to have a chat to you about what they can do. But, yeah, we really look forward to a long-term partnership with them. They've been associated with the show for a while. It's good to have them on board in an official capacity.
Yeah, it is good, mate. And, I personally don't have them at the moment, but I've heard nothing but great things about them, mate.
Yeah, your sporting abilities are probably beyond help by this point, though, mate, so it's all right.
Yeah, that's right, mate. That is right.
Maybe the Alpha Prices should share a pair between them.
Yeah, one leg each.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much to get around Nathan's.
The cars might block it, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But, obviously our other partners, Matt's Mowing and Maintenance, and Primax Sports Tours as well. For all your sports tour needs, they can organise end-of-season trips or trips away to sporting events, whether they're one-off games or tournaments. Let them know. Get in touch with them via Facebook and make sure to get around and just, even if it's just simply liking our supporters and sponsors pages, that'd be great. But yeah, keep in touch with the show. Let us know your thoughts if you want anything else involved, or even if you just want to pot someone or give yourself a rap. Nathan Hudson loves it. He's getting plenty of mentions from it. So now we just need to see him get performing on the field, mate.
Yeah, that's right, mate. We don't want any one-hit wonders.
No, exactly right. But that's it for this week, mate. Thank you again for your time. Make sure to get down and support your local sport this week. I hope to see at least 20,000 Nova Cash-ins and Hunter Valley residents down at McDonald Jones Stadium on Saturday night to cheer on the Jets versus the Victory. All those people that scramble for grand final tickets, here's your chance to see them again. Get down there, get behind it, get to the cricket, get to the local rugby league, just get down to anything, enjoy the sport, and looking forward to catching the Jets kicking off their home campaign, and plenty of sporting action this weekend. So thanks again for your time, mate, and we'll catch everyone next week.